By the way, guys, of the 20, so Kevin Stefanski has a winning record in the regular season, of course. Of the 23 Browns coaches in their history, that have, not including interim coaches, of the 23 Browns coaches that have coached at least one full season, including Kevin Stefanski, how many of those 23 have a winning record?
Since 99?
No, forever.
Oh, I'd say 4.
G?
I don't understand the question.
We're dropping by.
The Browns have had 23 head coaches that have coached at least 1 year.
Okay.
Ever.
So Greg Williams does not count.
Greg Williams,
because he had a winning record.
Interims don't count.
Right.
Of those 23, how many have a career winning record as head coach of the Browns?
Okay.
Jay said 4.
I'd cut that back to
3.
2.
I'm going to give him 2 also.
2.
Yeah. I think Marty barely had a
Marty?
winning record.
Sam?
No, I don't think any of the others did.
Paul Brown. And Kevin Stefanski.
Well, you know Stefanski, so
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say 3 or 4, 3.
there's actually 5.
Who are they?
Paul Brown
Yep.
was
Right.
110 games over 500.
Jeez.
Blanton Collier,
Oh, yeah,
who had a
Blanton.
great
Okay.
record too
Yeah.
back in the day. Marty Schottenheimer, 17 games over 500. Nick Skorich,
Yeah.
Don't even
Never
remember
6
him.
games over 500.
Don't know who
And
he is.
Stefanski. Sam Ratigliano was 47 and 50.
What was Bud Carson?
But
Probably
Carson,
close to 500
11,
too.
13, and 1.
Yeah, I was going to say close to 500. He had a great season and an awful season.
Yep. So there you go.
Yeah, and there you have it. There's
Belichick,
the Cleveland Browns
36 and
history in the
44 for the
nutshell.
Browns. Yeah.
It's pretty bad.
But fire Stefanski. He's terrible.
Yeah.
In fairness, Kevin Stefanski's had more talent than most of these other
He's
coaches.
had a bad year. Kevin's had a bad year.
But he's had a bad year. Yes.
Absolutely.
Well, you can do the same thing with quarterbacks, and Baker was one of the few quarterbacks that had a 500 record, and he got run. But I mean, when you start
time.
looking at quarterbacks that had 500 records, it's going to be very similar. It's slim pickings out there.
I think it was a. I don't want to go down this rabbit hole. It was a.
Look.
It was a perfect storm of events.
Are you rolling a grenade in that?
Well, no. Here's the thing. Like
Okay.
last winter was a very odd sequence of events that a lot of franchise quarterbacks had the potential of becoming available. That's why the Baker thing became what it was.
Sure.
If Russ Wilson and Aaron Rodgers and Deshaun Watson were not coming available, we would have had all the conversations that we had, and ownership probably wouldn't have made the decision that they had. They would have just stuck with Baker because
Baker did have a losing record with the Browns, but 29 and 30.
there was no better option. It was just a perfect storm of events
Yeah.
that led to where we are today.
Well,
Boy,
thankfully,
as it turned out, those available quarterbacks, like Rodgers has turned the page. And
Russell Wilson
clearly
plummeted.
Russ, did you see what the Denver Broncos did yesterday without Russ? And Russ was healthy. Russ could have played yesterday. And they made the decision not to play him.
The question.
That's a problem.
When you're
That's
making money,
crazy.
that's a big
Because the
problem.
extension hasn't even kicked in.
No, he was cleared.
What a disaster if
It
the
ain't a
Browns
problem
had
for
traded
Russell.
for Russell Wilson.
No, not a problem for
No,
Russell.
no,
He
it's
can
not
put 12 more bathrooms in that house.
Not a problem. It's not a problem for Russell.
Now, I hate to do this.
Go ahead.
Grenade has been rolled. If Baker would have just said, you know what, let me just get this surgery and shut it down last year. He come back this year.
Well, thankfully that didn't happen.
Would the Browns be in a better or worse position?
Worse. They'd be in a worse position.
If he shut it down, so 2 games in, has the surgery.
If he shuts it down after the Texans game
Yep.
last year, right? Was it? No. Second game of the year. Who'd they play? Where he originally hurt the shoulder.
Yeah,
it
it's
wasn't
Cardinals,
Houston.
right? No.
No,
it was
Cardinals
Houston.
was the re-injury. It was the
Houston.
Texans.
It was
He's
Houston.
Yeah.
If he shuts it down after that, Baker's a quarterback today of the Browns.
And would they have a better record now, or when they had Baker?
Oh gosh, I think that they would probably be about the same, but I think their future is much brighter with Deshaun.
Oh my God, not even close.
Yeah, what's funny is I had a buddy he hates the Browns, but he's fairly objective on most things, and he texted me yesterday. He covers the NFL, and I said, "Come on, 3 games. We're going to make that. You're making that snap judgment in 3 games." But what he said was, and he said, "Save this text for posterity." Deshaun Watson has definitively played the best football he'll ever play. Definitively. It wasn't like maybe. He goes, everybody in Cleveland is projecting him to put the numbers up that he put up 3 years ago. And he says, I'm just telling you with my eyes, he has played his best football, and that's a definitive statement. And we can relitigate this 2 years down the road when it's come.
I don't think.
And that's something
How
that
can he done before that?
no,
Let me tell you.
Bull, very, very knowledgeable.
Yeah,
very
There are
respected.
I don't
teams
think
around
that-
the NFL who believe exactly that. That Deshaun
Yeah.
played his best football.
Well, here.
I'm not
There's
an
a myriad
NFL
of
talent
reasons.
evaluator.
Let me tell you what sports is.
I'm not an
Sports
NFL
is-
talent evaluator. I'm just telling you there are teams who believe he played his
sports
best
is
football.
about
in his career.
evaluation, and when people put money on people, you're betting a hunch, right? I don't think you've seen the best football that he's going to play.
Let's
here in
hope
Cleveland.
not, because the Browns certainly.
I don't subscribe to that at all.
I don't either.
At all.
Yeah.
I don't either. I'm just telling you there are
Jason,
teams.
Give me the examples of 27-year-old quarterbacks
I
that
agree with
played
you.
at an all-pro level that all of a sudden stink.
I agree with you.
When does that happen?
I'm just telling you.
Unless
I'm not an
it's- unless
NFL
it's
talent
injury.
evaluator. I'm just telling you there were teams around
Well,
the league.
by
who
the way,
felt
the
like he
injury
played
was
his
part
best
of this
ball.
argument. The injury was
knee?
part of this discussion.
The knee?
The knee.
Yeah.
Because RG3 was I think to me, even though RG3 had more team success, but it was short. It was he burned hot and bright.
Yep.
But the injury for him was after he came back, he clearly couldn't do what allowed him to do everything else.
Correct.
And are we seeing that with Lamar Jackson right now? I don't know. I don't know that we are. There are people that think that we definitely are.
Yeah.
I don't
but
think,
on the
but
Deshaun
Robert
Watson
Griffin
front,
isn't anywhere close to the player that Deshaun Watson was.
Robert, we forgot how
As
good
a
Robert
rookie,
Griffin
he was electrifying.
You need to go back and you need to, and in fact, you need to almost watch him. His numbers are one thing. He was doing things that prior to Michael Vick, we hadn't seen
He
anybody
had the
do.
league on. Was it his rookie year?
His
He had the
rookie
league on
year,
fire.
he absolutely was lighting it up with his arm and his leg.
Not with his arm. He
And-
averaged about
no.
200 yards a game.
He was making throws that
He was the talk of the league.
He was the talk of the
Regardless
league.
I
of what the numbers
understand that,
say.
guys.
I remember he took a beating for doing it at the time, and he should have because at the way it turned out, especially now we have the benefit of the results. But I remember Ron Jaworski, who is an excellent judge of talent. Ron Jaworski said, he did preface it with the injuries, but he said, if this guy stays healthy and this skill set carries into his 30s, he's going to be an all-time great.
I thought he said that about Kaepernick.
But
No, he said that about RG3
Here's
too.
the
He loved
bottom line.
Kaepernick as well.
Here's the bottom
Kaepernick
line.
was another one. Not that he was ever a superior quarterback, but he had some time.
Here's the bottom line. RG3's best year was his rookie year. He sucked after that.
Well-
right? His best year was worse than the 3 Deshaun Watson years.
He was never the same after the injury.
He was never the same
point-
after
he
the
had
injury.
one
So-
good year.
And by the way, that has a lot to do with it. The injuries.
Yeah.
You can't he's had it twice.
Yeah.
And
But
that's
RG3 relied on his legs. He was a run quarterback.
What I said-
Deshaun
Deshaun's
Watson
a better
is
passer than
is a
RG3.
million times
Yes.
better. It's
Yes,
not even
That's
close.
fair. And, when the story I wrote, I reported 13 teams were interested in Deshaun Watson.
Of course.
So half the league wanted this guy.
Guys.
I'm just saying there were teams
Fine.
that felt like
and maybe that
exactly
will happen,
point
but
that was
there's
made.
no precedence for it. RG3 is a bad comparison. He had 1 year and he ran. He threw
RG3.
he
I-
threw
to
like
Brooks'
200
20
yards
touchdowns.
20 years ago is different than 200
Bull's
yards
point,
today.
There's nobody. The odds are in Deshaun Watson's favor. There's no 27-year-old dropping off the face of the earth with
For
a
no
high
reason.
with a high talent
Now, I
level,
will say this.
without a significant injury.
Well, I will say this. If you talk about falling off the face of the planet, that could be statistically. I still worry to this day, are you going to put him in the position to do what he does?
Well-
when when he had that year, he threw for all them yards. Look at the speed guys. Randall Cobb, Will Fuller, Brandon Cooks. These guys are getting downfield.
don't
They're
have
averaging
that.
almost.
The talent around him was nothing.
Hold on.
Those guys were shot. Randall Cobb was shot by that point.
They're averaging 17 yards a catch
Cooks was in
because
his
they
prime,
threw the
too.
ball down the field.
because they're faster than everybody.
Okay, so you get a fast receiver.
Well, here's the thing. They
Just
got
being fast is not enough.
They got. Here's what I'm saying.
Ask
to you.
Anthony Schwartz.
I mean, come
Here's what
on.
I'm saying. You have to put these guys. If you
Amari
want-
Cooper's better than any of those
If
guys.
you want the numbers, you got to look at what a guy does
I
best.
hear you, but you're judging it based on their talent now. They got this offseason.
I'm not saying,
and they got good talent.
I'm not going to say they're going to fall off a cliff, but what I'm
Yeah.
going to say is Andrew Berry ain't did no A+ be going to get nobody. You name me somebody A+ where Berry had. He hasn't done a good job, and I haven't seen them get primetime receivers, big numbers.
What you say? He hadn't pulled off. He hadn't come. He doesn't come across as a shrewd guy.
No, he
not
ain't got.
shrewd.
What dude he done got you that you was like, oh man. And we talk about developing too. Like you developed Donovan Peoples-Jones. You hoping you could develop Perrion Winfrey. But these linebackers, zeros. A lot of the dudes you picked up, this is a pivotal year. If they want him to get to where they go, Andrew Berry is going to have to use the draft. He's going to have to use free agency. And he's going to have to pull off some trades too.
True.
Well, and the problem with that is, too, using the draft. Your big currency in the draft, you don't have.
You don't got that.
have those difference-making picks.
No.
Can you hit on the second and third
Sure.
rounders? You absolutely can. But his track record right now is that he hasn't.
That's why you got to have them gym rats. Them gym rats are getting in the cracks and crevices and find people and know how to swing deals. Kobe Altman does a good job swinging deals. Andrew Berry.
The Guardians do a great job. They are Hall of Famers in
Did
swinging
get Deshaun
deals.
Watson. I mean, credit.
But to
Yeah, they
no,
traded for Deshaun Watson.
Here, but we're talking about now. You got a guy. You got to surround the guy with other guys that make him pop.
Well,
Right?
one player.
We don't
You know
have
what?
that.
You know what? Deshaun Watson will equal 4,800 yards and 4 wins if you don't surround him with the pieces he needs.
And they already have a far superior team
And
than
here's
what Texas
here's
has.
something I said last week that I absolutely believe. You get better at your job the longer you're in it.
Yeah.
And Andrew Berry was really young. He was the youngest GM in the league when he was put in this job.
13
You're
years
going to
old.
make mistakes.
Yeah.
But if you go back and look at this last draft, it's still an incomplete to me, but Martin Emerson looks like a home run.
Third
He is
round
an
pick.
absolute
Third
home run.
round.
That might
Third
be his
round
best.
pick.
That's the best draft pick
It
I
might
think that
be.
they've made.
And I'll tell you
Donovan
what,
Peoples-Jones in the 6th round.
I believe Alex Wright can play in this league. I think he's going to be a player for a long time.
You do?
Another third-round pick. I like him. David Bell, the jury's still out, obviously. Hasn't really
See,
contributed.
I'm going to say David Bell. The jury isn't out.
Well,
he has
he's a
200. He
mid-round-
has under 200 yards receiving.
He's a mid-round. He was 99 overall. Third-round pick rookie. I thought he'd make more of an impact over the second
I
half
did
of the
too.
season.
I had way
Because
bigger
over the
hopes for
second
him.
half, over here, the second half of the season. You don't expect much. I don't. Of
It's
a
a mixed
third-rounder.
bag, but there's
Yeah.
a lot of mixed
it's
bag.
fewer
But
than
he's also
200 receiving
He's
yards.
a rookie, and I'm not going to call him a bust
Okay,
by any means.
okay.
Jerome Ford, we'll find out next year what you have. Mike Woods has contributed as a sixth-rounder.
Cade York's been a big disappointment.
Cade York,
has been a
according to Bull,
disappointment,
is
yeah.
a failure.
Cade York's
No, I'm
been
not
a
saying he's a
disappointment.
failure yet, but he's been a
Oh,
big
I thought you had him as a failure.
It's been a
No,
disappointment.
but he's got to get it together. I mean,
Let's
he's
talk
having
about
a
Cade
bad
York.
year.